Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warned NATO allies Tuesday that Russia was planning military operations on their territories, on the sidelines of a summit in The Hague. According to Associated Press, past NATO summits have focused almost entirely on the war in Ukraine, now in its fourth year, but Kyiv's bid to join the alliance has been stalled since the election of U.S. President Donald Trump. The U.S. has made no new public pledges of support to Ukraine since Trump took office 6 months ago. Zelensky arrived in The Hague early Tuesday for a series of meetings, despite his absence from a leaders' meeting aiming to seal the agreement to boost military spending in member countries. He appealed for European investment in Ukraine's defense industry, which can produce weapons and ammunition more quickly and cheaply than elsewhere in Europe. No doubt, we must stop Putin now and in Ukraine. But we have to understand that his objectives reach beyond Ukraine. European countries need to increase defense spending, he said. He agreed that NATO's new target of 5% of GDP is the right level.
Maybe you can stand over here and allow the photographers.
No.
There are no signs that Putin wants to stop this war. Russia rejects all peace proposals, including those from the United States of America. Putin only thinks about war. That's a fact. Maybe he connects his own political survival with his ability to keep killing. So long as he kills, he lives. And our intelligence confirmed this. Russia is even planning new military operations on NATO territory, meaning your countries, and this war is now on in Ukraine, and it's to get prepared, well, to be ready. No doubt we must stop Putin now and in Ukraine, but we have to understand that his objectives reach beyond Ukraine. European countries need to increase defense spending. We believe that 5% of GDP is the right level. Value deeply. Please, let's make sure that our defense potential and the potential of our partners works for our peace, not for Russia's madness. Thank you. Slava Ukraini. Thank you so much.
NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte said Monday that allies will agree during the NATO summit to spend 5% of their GDPs in defense investment and said that Iran must not be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon. According to Associated Press, speaking ahead of a NATO leaders summit that will take place in The Hague from June 24 to 25, Rutte called this new agreement on defense spending ambitious, historic, and fundamental. Allied leaders will take bold decisions to strengthen our collective defense, making NATO a stronger, fairer, and a more lethal alliance. This will include a major new defense investment plan ranging the benchmark for defense investment to 5% of GDP, said Rutte. U.S. President Donald Trump and his NATO counterparts are due to gather Tuesday for a summit that could unite the world's biggest security organization around a new defense spending pledge or widen divisions among the 32 allies. Rutte said it was critical that each ally carry their fair share of the burden. Of the new baseline of 5% of GDP to be invested in defense, he called it a quantum leap that is ambitious, historic, and fundamental to securing our future. The new defense investment plan is the key deliverable for this summit and will be decisive when it comes to ensuring effective deterrence and defense, Rutte added. Rutte also stressed that Iran must not be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon, but he refused to take a position on the U.S. bombing of the country's nuclear facilities. My biggest fear would be for Iran to own and be able to use and deploy a nuclear weapon. That would be a stranglehold on Israel, on the whole region, and other parts of the world, Rutte told reporters on Monday. He was speaking ahead of a summit with Trump and counterparts that Rutte will chair on Wednesday in the Netherlands. The United States is the biggest and most influential of NATO's 32 member countries. Asked whether the US strikes were as legally dubious as Russia's war of aggression on Ukraine, Rutte said only, "I would not agree that this is against the international law what the U.S. did," without explaining why.
This pre-summit press conference, we'll start with a statement from the Secretary General and
we meet at a truly historic moment, with significant and growing challenges to our security. As the world becomes more dangerous, allied leaders will take bold decisions to strengthen our collective defense, making NATO a stronger, a fairer, and a more lethal alliance. This will include a major new defense investment plan, ranging the benchmark for defense investment to 5% of GDP. A concerted effort to ramp up defense industry across the alliance, bringing not only greater security, but also more jobs. And a continued focus on support for Ukraine, alongside the pursuit of a just and lasting end to Russia's war of aggression. All of this is essential to keeping our 1 billion citizens safe.
I wanted to ask you, now that we see the United States directly involved,
It is now clear what kind of investment it will take to effectively deliver what we need. And it is critical that each ally carries their fair share of the burden. The defense investment plan that allies will agree in The Hague introduces a new baseline, 5% of GDP to be invested in defense. This is a quantum leap that is ambitious, historic, and fundamental to securing our future. The new defense investment plan is the key deliverable for this summit and will be decisive when it comes to ensuring effective deterrence in defense.
This question from the part of our media delegation. Right. So,
Now, my biggest fear would be Iran having a nuclear weapon. Really, let's focus on the essentials here. My biggest fear would be for Iran to own and be able to use and deploy a nuclear weapon. It would be a stranglehold on Israel, on the whole region and other parts of the world. And that is why NATO has said Iran should not. And this is a consistent position of NATO. Iran should not have its hands on a nuclear weapon. So, and I would not agree that this is against international law what the US did. Thank you.
U stopt in het midden in dit gedeelte, u stopt onder het navellogo, en dan zal de aankondiger zeggen voor misschien met zachte hand op de rug vraagt dat daar gewoon inderdaad. Ik heb de Marant.
Sorry.
Volgende etappe op deze generale repetitie, dit rondje. Rutte gaat beschrijven. Benieuwd waar nu Rutte zelf
Aangegeven vanmorgen.
chair.
laten.
De stoelen zijn hieronder verwijderd.
Ja.
Dus een mooi moment om stoelen te renoveren.
Ja, en jij begint hier, want we houden allebei
Ja.
met de camera's erbij.
Een korte opening.
Korte opening. Ik dacht
En dan
dat ik
verplaats ik mij.
jou dacht
Ja,
ik het woord
klopt.
dat ik het al heb.
Ja.
En dan stand ik. I know that threat is there, but obviously the NATO summit itself will really concentrate first of all on the Euro-Atlantic. And probably people will talk in the meetings and also between leaders about what is happening now with Iran, because this is obviously a huge development. But the NATO summit itself is really concentrating on making sure that long term this alliance of 32 countries is able to defend itself against any foe, any adversary, and I'm really confident that we'll come to good conclusions.
Waarom is Zelensky niet welkom bij?
You said it in Dutch, but in English. Is it firm for the